Well, I have another great honor. Students, there are many, many stories about the legends that have worked here and have touched the lives of all of students like you and students before you, all of those who have lived and learned at this place. And you see many of those legends named engraved on our buildings across campus. You've seen Thogmorton, Erastus P. Puckett, T. Berry Smith, and many, many more. We have with us today, who will be your speaker, is truly a living legend of Central Methodist University. Today's speaker, in my estimation, over the course of his 52-year career, let me say that again, a 52-year career as an admissions counselor, has likely influenced more than 5,000 students to come and be influenced by the mission of Central Methodist University. Graduates, if Braxton Rethwisch recruited you as a freshman, would you please raise your hand high? Yeah. Braxton is an alumni of this institution. He graduated in the class of 1964. To the vast majority of our Central Methodist community, he requires no introduction at all. But I do have a very, very special honor that I get to present to Braxton. I get to present Braxton with the highest award the Central Methodist University faculty can bestow. Braxton, if you would come forward. Braxton, I have a resolution that reads, Resolution of the Board of Trustees, Central Methodist University, Fayette, Missouri. Whereas Braxton P. Rethwisch has provided 52 years of exemplary service to Central Methodist University. Whereas Rethwisch's dedication to the university as a student, alumnus, staff member, and ambassador is without equal. Whereas he has demonstrated an untiring focus on academic excellence and on Central's steady growth and development. Whereas Rethwisch has accomplished all of this with a gracious and generous spirit, and whereas Rethwisch is most deserving of the highest honor that the faculty of Central Methodist University can bestow, be it therefore resolved upon recommendation of the President and approved by a vote of the faculty, the Central Methodist University Board of Trustees hereby confers upon Braxton P. Rethwisch the degree Doctor of Humane Letters with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities appertaining thereunto. Chairman Perry and his son Carter will present the master's hood, or the doctorate hood. And ladies and gentlemen, I present to you for the first time, Dr. Braxton Rethwisch. Thank you folks so much. That's a great honor. A standing ovation is a great honor to bestow upon Braxton, and it's also greatly earned. Before I invite Braxton to the podium, Braxton has been through a lot lately. He has had a great challenge, but as all of us expected and knew, he would rise to meet that challenge. But he didn't do it all himself. He had some great help. Braxton had some great help with his wonderful wife, Judy, and with his amazing children, Carter and Christine. Carter is here today, and I think Carter would like to say just a word before Braxton comes to the podium. Carter?
Thank you, guys, and congratulations on your graduation. Many of you may know I attended Central Methodist a few years ago. I was 19 years old. That was 1991, which is a few years ago. And I was in a bad accident that was fatal and caused me to go through great trauma. So I have something in common now with my dad because he's recently suffered a stroke. But whereas almost 50% of the people who suffer that kind of stroke do not survive, he survived. He then has recuperated, and today he's going to give you guys another one of his motivational, inspirational speeches, even after going through such a traumatic experience, because he lives to do this, and this is his passion. So if you would, please give a warm welcome to my father, Braxton Rethwisch.
Talk to you, Carter.
Yeah,
we'll go ahead. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Members of the class of 2017, this is your day. And a lot is made in colleges all over the country about who shows up opening day. Well, to seasoned admission professionals, this is the day we live for. Who shows up at graduation? Boy, it's great to see all of you. So, members of the Board of Trustees, Doctor Josh Jacobs, Chairman Perry, distinguished faculty, parents, friends, what a day this is and what a day it is for me. This is the highlight of my professional career. You know, those of us who are in the college admission profession have a saying that long after people have forgotten your credentials, your degrees, and your accomplishments, they will always remember how they were treated. And in our profession, we hope that people will look back at us and say, well, they treated me with honor, respect, and dignity. So we hope we have done a good job of that, and you will reflect that as you get into your career. Today is truly a day of celebration, but we're not celebrating the end of your academic pursuits or your college studies. Today marks the beginning of your professional career. I don't mean to give you distinguished graduates any nefarious ideas, but I do remember a legal case I studied in graduate school, which had to do with a young man who graduated from a well-known, rather prestigious institution. And in a short time, he was suing that institution. It wasn't Central Methodist, by the way. And the judge said, "What's your cause, young man?" He said, "Well, before I entered here," he said, "I carefully read the mission statement of this institution, and among other things it said, graduates of this institution shall know they have acquired knowledge and gained wisdom. And Your Honor, I didn't get wisdom. Well, I'm going to suggest to you that wisdom is where you find it. And sometimes you have to think hard and reflect over a period of time to know just what that wisdom is and how you're going to employ it. That will largely depend upon what you think. I have a memory of some wisdom I got, which I think came on the football field. We had a coach who, by the way, was a Central Methodist alum, and he convinced us that your opponent has nothing whatsoever to do with the outcome of a game. That is determined by what you think and how you carry out your thoughts and how dedicated you are and how hard you work. How you look at things and the way you think is exemplified in a story I heard long ago about a construction crew working on a building site, and it was hot and they were tired and they were frustrated. And one of the workers said, "Oh, this is terrible. We're out here in the hot sun and we're hauling sand and gravel and mortar. And then we get it ready, and those guys over there, those stone masons, are building wall. And pretty soon another worker kind of showed up late and looking beleaguered and tired. And somebody asked him, 'What are you doing?' He said, 'I'm building a cathedral.' My football coach suggested that if the opponent was unimportant, he was single-minded, and he said, it's all about whether you think you can win this game or not. He called me aside. He said, 'Okay, you're one of the captains. You're going to be my quarterback.' And that was kind of a daunting thing to hear at the tender age I was. And he said, 'I'm not going to be running in plays. I want you to think you're out there in the midst of the action.' So I have to confess, every now and then, it'd be 3rd and 4 or something like that, and I'd look over, 'Coach, what do you think? Do I run? Do I pass?' And the only response I ever got was this. But a few years later, when he died, I wrote his wife and I told her what he had meant to me. And I wrote that story. I said, now that I look back, and he'd pound that fist into the other hand, I said, to this day, I don't know whether that meant run or pass, but I figured out very quickly it meant first down. That's kind of what I want to visit with you about today, is your mindset, your mental attitude is everything. As you build your career and as you wrestle with the problems life throws at you. There's my son. He has played a lot of sports, and as he's tried to help me recuperate, my coach's name was Jim March. He graduated here. I'm sure he spent a lot of time in this building. But Carter, quite often, as he's pushing me, he'd make a great physical therapist. Boy, I tell you, he's full steam ahead. And sometimes when he thinks I'm not going fast enough, he'll say, "March, Dad, march, Jim, march, march." Well, his first year here, Carter was in a terrible automobile accident. The vehicle he was in with 3 of his soccer teammates was hit head-on by a big truck. The force was so great that the truck went over the top of their car. They were all rushed to the hospital, and when we got there, we didn't get to see him for several hours. He was in real bad shape. And those of you familiar with the entryway over at Woodward Hall have seen a bench there that faces Church Street. And that bench is dedicated to the memory of Jimmy Barnes, who was killed in that accident. Carter's injury was such that he was in a coma for 5 days. And then when we stayed right outside of his intensive care unit, and all of a sudden his mother and I saw this group of medical people racing down the hall and going into his ICU unit. And the doctor came over and he said, "Oh, I'm sure you want to know what's going on." We said, "Yes, sir." And he said, "Well, your son seems to be very athletic, but we had him on a breathing machine and a lot of other apparatus." And he said somewhere or another, he must be a Houdini, but somewhere or other he got out of the tethers because we figured he'd probably get uncomfortable. And that happened. And somewhere or another he got his hands free and pulled out the breathing tube and detached some other things we had him hooked up to. A few days later, he woke up and wanted to know what had happened. We tried to explain. Well, he went on and finished college on time, and he went on and played semi-pro football, and after 3 50-yard field goals in 2 days, he called me. Well, I'll never forget it. "Hey, Dad, guess what?" What's that? He said, "I got a call from the Rams today, and they want me to come kick in a tryout and practice." Well, anyway, and then he went on a year ago and won the batting title in his baseball league, which is fairly sophisticated level of baseball. But I tell you this story not thinking he's going to get an offer from the Rams or the Cardinals or something, but because this plays into what I want to talk to you about. You've already heard I suffered a stroke. This was about 1.5 years ago. Woke up in the emergency room, and there was Carter. He's always there when I need him. And he proudly held up an article he had printed out. "Hey, Dad, look at this." It says, "People who suffer the same kind of stroke you had have a 45% chance of recovery." And I said, "Well, I don't know where you do your gambling, but those are not the odds I'm looking for." Anyway, he's my chauffeur. He's my therapist. He's made everything I've done in the last few months possible. He's not, you'd think after all this talk about sports, you would think that he's some great big tackle or something. He had a way of taking me out of my unit at the recovery center. He says, "Dad, I'm going to tell all my buddies you're through with rehab." Well, anyway, he could carry me and set me down in the front seat of his car. And he called me on Super Bowl Sunday and he said, "Dad, you'd probably like to come home and see the game on your own TV in your big chair." I said, "Yeah, I sure would." He came in and there's somebody had parked right next to the side where he puts me in. And the only way he could get me in was kind of topple me and then got me in the rest of the way with his knee very gently, but I had my head on the console looking at the ceiling. And I said, "Now, Carter, Super Sunday is getting to be kind of like New Year's Eve, and police are going to be everywhere, so if you get pulled over, I'll be having to talk to a police officer and explain that I am not deceased. Otherwise, they're probably going to try to charge you with unlawful disposition of the body. He would put up with any talk of less than full recovery on his part, and that's all he ever talks about with me is, Dad, you need to do more exercise or whatever. You got to think about what you're going to do to recover, and you've got to do what they tell you. I would like to thank my wife, Judy, who is also a Central alum, and my daughter, Christine, and her husband, Patrick Nye. They've all been just terrific. And my grandchildren are here today as well, Clark and Elise Wagstaff. Now, Elise loves to read and think and talk, and we used to read fairy tales a lot. You've all done that. Once upon a time this, once upon a time that. And I was reading it once upon a time, and Elise said, Granddad, stop a minute. I've got a question. I said, go ahead, Elise. She said, does every fairy tale begin with once upon a time? I said, well, no, not necessarily. You see, in even-numbered years, a lot of fairy tales begin with, when I am elected. If you hear when I'm elected, you know a fairy tale is on its way. Remember 2016, look what we have to look forward to next year. Just imagine the fairy tales we'll hear. Presidential election year. Carter will tell you that one of the motivating things for him throughout his recuperation, he suffered a just horrendous head injury. And when we were at the emergency room, they said, don't you leave this lounge. We may have to talk to you at any moment. And I saw when I was in the locker room of one of the state's best football programs, led by a legendary coach. As I walked out, I saw in letters this high over the locker room as you went to the exit door. There was this phrase, if you think you can, or if you think you can't, you're right. Well, that stuck with me, and I related that to Carter. We've quoted that many times. I think that those words originally belonged to Henry Ford, the great industrialist. And to show you the way things, who's that? If I seem to be jumping around, that's because I was rearranging my thoughts a little bit as we drove out here yesterday. I was in the back seat of the van with my wife driving, and so I got a few things out of order, I think.
Say thanks, Ted.
It's okay, here's what went wrong. All of a sudden I'm reading from President Drake's test. So. You're lucky. My wife grabbed a hold of my speech and cut out almost a third of the stories.
All right, Dan. Tell him thanks. You covered it all there. Yep, right down here. Conclusion.
He said, here's your conclusion right here. So the thoughts I want to leave with you are that if you have the right state of mind, that is the single-minded belief that you can conquer whatever your challenge is, you will do so. Thank you, Judy.
Thank you, Braxton. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Is it behind? Is it behind?
Yeah, you're good.
Thank you.
Good job. Good job. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a living legend of Central Methodist University. More courage in that man's little finger than in my entire body. One more time, a very nice hand for Dr. Braxton Rethwisch.
Rolling.
Braxton, I love you. You're so wonderful. Congratulations on your doctorate.
Braxton was wonderful. He got wonderful applause. He did a great job. I've never seen that kind of applause in Bucket Fieldhouse, except one time when I stopped speaking.
Jerry, anything memorable? Ruth, anything memorable about today's events?
Well, we were just talking about how we think the graduates really were listening and that there really was a message for them. And it also looked like you were having a good time.
That's true.
You were smiling a lot.
What about you, Jerry?
Well, I thought the graduation went a long time, but the speech was good. If we'd have cut out all the graduates, it would have been a better afternoon.
There you go. So what do you guys think about the graduation or the
awesome.
ceremony? Say it again?
Yeah, Dr. Dad,
Giddy up. All right.
Good job, Dad. Very proud of you.
Clark, what did you think? Good job. All right, we're making this for my dad. Any parting comments, anything exciting you thought about today's events?
Well, I think it's really nice to have a Dr. Rethwisch in our family.
Absolutely. It probably won't come anywhere else, right?
Probably not.
Always good.
Nice
You
day.
did a great job.
I owe you. Or Reeds. Tell anything?
We've been looking forward to coming for some time now, and it was good to see your folks and everybody else that's here today and tonight.
Mike?
Well, I've admired your father almost since the moment I met him, and I don't know that I ever admired him more than today with his courage to stand up there and speak to this group. And it's clear from his son's activity that he's a chip off the old block.
Well, thank you. Good work. Nancy?
I am just so thrilled to see my brother-in-law doing so well, and that he was brave enough to speak in front of a huge audience. He did a wonderful job, and his wife looked like that, and he stopped. It was amazing. And I love seeing Central, and I love doing it with Jack, because we haven't been here together for 50 years. And this is where we met.
Right. Jack and Nancy.
And Braxton again, too. I'm glad he did so well today. I spoke for him, and he did great.
And you did great in helping me.
All right, thanks. Jay, what'd you think?
I really enjoyed the speech. It brought tears to my eyes. And it's great to see the amount of people that really love him. And to see how many people that people's lives that was impacted were positive.
Great, thanks.
Great job.
So Nancy, you're next up. What'd you think about today's events?
So calm, fantastic, better than I thought. You really was calm.
Yes, I had all those years.
I know. You knew what he wanted to say.
It's even worse than having zero stage fright. I look forward to it.
Good boy.
Yeah. So it's just where I'm most comfortable.
Yep. How are you? What'd you think of today's events?
I thought it was great. It was meaningful, and I thought he had a relevant message to the students. And it was cool seeing all the people that he recruited, raise their hand.
I remember my freshman year being a speech class.
Coming to you next. Tracy, what'd you think about today's event?
Today's event was wonderful. Father like son. I'm proud of your dad. I'm proud of you, Carter. Way to go, Braxton.
And Dr. Drake, how are you, sir? What'd you think?
I thought today was fantastic. I thought your dad just hit a home run. He absolutely knocked it out of the park. So many of the students and the parents came up to me after and said how meaningful it was that they got to hear Braxton talk and to actually hear from a living legend of CMU. So I appreciate what you did, helping and supporting your dad as you have over this last year. You're a fine young man. If I had a son, I wanted to be just exactly like you. I'm so appreciative that Braxton came out today and served our students the way he did.
I appreciate that. I think you need more information, but there's my parents might differ with it. Dave, what do you think?
I think Braxton did a terrific job today. Anytime a 74-year-old man can hold the attention of 20-year-old young people and challenge them is terrific, and he did it. Absolutely right.
Awesome. Rick?
Your dad has been my big brother and mentor in this business for over 30 years, and he's been so influential in this profession for so long. There's no one who doesn't respect him, and it was great today. It was great to be there and to hear his stories.
All right, and the woman of the hour, Judy Rethwisch. What'd you think, man?
It was one of the scariest things I've been through. In my entire life.
The time you married him or today?
This is scarier than when I married him. But I thought he did too. And I was very proud of it. And I'm glad it's doing as well as it is. Okay.
Great. All right, BR, here's your moment. What'd you think about today?
Wonderful day. And you can imagine still working with kids like the ones that we graduated today. It's a great event. And Judy cut out the best part of my story.
But you got a good speech in anyway and inspired a lot of people.
I want to see 1/3 of the speech it was cut out.
So Dad, anything else?
That's part of the good story.
What else would you like to say to everybody, Dad?
Well, these are the people that tutor me. And when I think about what central means, these are the ones who define that.
Awesome. Everybody want to do a quick toast? We'll do a quick toast to my dad.
Quick toast?
To Braxton.
To Braxton.
Quick toast. All right, Braxton, I'm going to let you go ahead and do the toast. What do you want to do?
Good afternoon. Here's the Braxton.
Quick toast with my dad here, everyone. Ready? All right. You want to make the toast, Dad?
If you could capture the central spirit, it's right here at the tree. These are the people that...
Take it out.
out this way. I can't get out the other way.
All right, cheers.
Cheers. All right.
Good work. So there it was, ladies and gentlemen. That's our event for the day. Braxton doing a great job, and we appreciate everybody that's attended. Thanks for watching and giving great support. We'll see you. Giddy up.
Giddy up. That's